Walkie check.
Good check.
Copy that. What's the ETA on
2 minutes.
Copy that.
Okay, and roll sound.
Rolling!
Incoming transmission.
2, 1.
Welcome, Coach Squad. Thank you for tuning in again. It's a pleasure to have you here yet again. So today we will be speaking about a topic which would actually make you a better rider, and of course it will actually please the oncoming driver as well, the oncoming traffic. And this is going to be very specific, where you will be, if at all you're riding on the hill stations and when the roads are becoming narrow. So let's step in. So the topic that we're going to discuss today is like how to take a corner better and thus also being faster. So the point that we will be covering is like the myths and tradition that we've been following all these years, and of course how to corner correctly. Thirdly, we will be touch basing with what is an apex point and how to hit it actually. I'll tell you what is an apex point and how to do that. And of course, I will explain you the racing line, and what is a racing line and what is a road line. The reason I'm going to explain you the racing line is because only then you will understand what is expected when you are actually on the road, basically. And of course, there is a bonus question. Yeah, the bonus question that I will be telling you how to dodge from a vehicle while you're at the lean, and what is the best and right way to do uh, while you are at it. So, without further ado, let's jump in. So, the myths are always simple. What we've been told, at least what I was told when I was learning to drive, ride actually was drive straight, sit straight, don't move the vehicle too much, you name it, etc. This was more like the way you are allowed to take a turn. This is the maximum angle that you can actually go in for a lead, or else the person who's teaching you will be actually go bonkers behind you. And this is definitely not the way, for sure. If you try doing this, um, I'm pretty sure if you're trying doing this with your parents or something, let's assume that you're actually taking the turn like this with your parents. I'm sure you will be grounded at least for a month. And personally, I don't like this picture. Of course, the reason is because he's too close to the median line, which I would not recommend, regardless of you being a traditional rider or the person who's a newbie, or you've already done a few racing laps. This is absolutely a no-no for me because you're too close to the median line, of course. And then if you end up trying to pull a mark a stunt in front of your parents, I'm pretty sure you will be disowned very quickly. They will literally disown you for sure. So, regardless of whatever type of rider you are, let's say you are a such straight stand tall rider, just like on the right hand side of this picture, or you are a very committed rider who likes to lean a lot and things like that. Remember one thing: the road is going to be the same for both of you, right? That's not going to change. The road is going to be the same, especially in my place in OT. The roads are filled with twisties, and it's going to be hill ride in which ways. So get that into your head. So regardless of whichever riding style you have, I'm not going to recommend which is the best riding style in here. So let's make that very, very clear. I'm not here to recommend any the right riding skills, I mean riding style that you can actually have while riding in OT. But again, I'm just going to tell you where you should be, your vehicle should be. That's it. It's as simple as that. So uh, in this picture, you can actually see where I've put motorcycle, and I even showed you the distance from the median line and the distance from the left and the line that is going to be on your left hand side. Since we in India actually drive on the left hand side of the left hand side of the road, that's the reason I have taken this as an example. So as a rider, I would request anyone who's not been following this one to try to maintain your motorcycle closer to the line that is on your left, not on the right. Let's not make the mistake of driving close to the median. Let's try to ride closer to the line that is on our left side, left hand side. I'm not recommending you to ride on the line, because that can be disastrous, because the friction it's crazy. You will not have the proper friction on the paint that is actually on the line. So this is something which I would recommend. I'll tell you the reasons why in the upcoming slides actually. So let's move on. So if at all the person is coming down the hill, even then, this is what I would recommend. You should be, as a rider, your point is to be closer to the line on your left, not on the right hand side. As simple as that. Regardless of which way you're riding, you should be closer to your left hand side of the line. So that it actually helps the oncoming traffic, and you will not be bothered too much, because there are crazy people who end up coming on your lane, and that can be disastrous. You will have to panic brake in many cases. So if you are actually close to this line, I'm not sure there are maniacs to that level that they actually come at you at that line, basically at your left hand side line. So just let's make it simple and straight. Let's keep it as closer to the left hand side of the line. So, what is an apex? So, apex is actually a racing term, normally it's actually used only for racing terms. So, apex is also known as a clipping point. If you want to know the exact definition, you can actually go and Google it. I will tell you what I have understood about the apex. Apex is a point where when you're actually approaching a corner, you are leaned in, you are actually tucked in, and you're actually taking a. For example, in this picture, you're actually going on the left hand side, so you are turning the vehicle left, putting all the body weight and things like that will enhance your the lean. And the minute you touch the apex point is when you start doing the opposite. So the minute you touch the apex point, you start to come back. You stop leaning and you start exiting. So that point is what is known as the apex point. At least that's the way I understand it. Is I do not see I have not seen the exact the Google description or the definition that is available. Of course, I was able to help you with this Wikipedia picture. So as I told you, apex point or a clipping point is something um, where you actually you touch the point and you start ending up what you're doing before approaching the corner. So there are two ways. So there's an earlier apex and the later apex. So earlier apex, the by definition, what happens is you come too fast on an early apex. You come in fast, you take the turn and the apex point faster, but your exit is slow. And the opposite is a later apex, where you delay the approach of your turn, so by slowing the vehicle, of course. So you end up going slow on the apex point, but your exit is faster. If you have seen the infamous Quattraro versus Mark Marquez, the rookie, almost won the race. If you've seen that, Mark Marquez actually played Quattraro with the same effect. He ensured Quattraro, of course, he had no other option to take an earlier apex so that he could come back with the later apex, and he won the race in the final lap. If you remember what I'm saying. So that is all about the apex and different types of apex points, or the earlier and the different later apex. So this is what is known as a racing line. I told you I had to show you what is a racing line so that I can actually differentiate with the racing line and the road legal line that you can drive for. So the racing line is actually, as I told you, this is the apex point when the person is coming down. I've also marked it for reference. So the minute he chases the apex points, he starts unleaning again so that he can actually go into the right hand side of the road. Just assume this is an S curve, so that he's coming on the left and he has to take a right turn immediately. But if it goes both ways, so if he's coming from now in this picture, he's coming from the top. and going down, if it's coming down and going up, it's going to the same line that I've brushed in the red, but only the apex point will change, because the apex point from approaching from that angle is different, but the racing line remains the same, is what I'm trying to say, right? And this is the road line, so you will understand the difference, right? So you take the apex, but you still keep going through the line that I've already told, to maintain the left hand side of the road, right? So that you maintain yourself on the left hand side of the road is where the road line is all about. It is not that you cannot cross the other line, because it's going to be an oncoming traffic and you can actually end up getting into trouble. So this is the difference of the road line versus the race line, basically. So this is the bonus question that I have in here. Let's assume you have not followed what I've told, and you ended up going closer to the median line, and you are going on a right turn, right? And you are already leaning, right? You are already committed. You put the body weight and everything that is required to take a beautiful right turn. And while you are at it, in the mid point of your turn, you end up seeing a truck or a bus coming in. Obviously, if you have known, or if you've been in Ooty or any hill station, the bus being having the longer wheelbase will actually be in your lane, on your side of the road, before he cuts in, because that's the only way the bus can turn in the curve. So you cannot blame him for that. So what would you do? The question is, what would you do? How would you dodge such a situation? Of course, the answers could be like, we can brake, which is actually a stupid idea. Maybe you can turn left, good, but I would not recommend that as well. So what would I say? uh, First things first, before I could explain myself, you should know one basic thing: your tire, or the wheel that you are actually on top of, will is designed to go straight. Let's make it simple and straight. Yes, you will be thinking I'm mad. Just think of it. You will know your wheel, or the tire that is on the vehicle, is only designed to go straight. As long as there is no external force that is well, it is given, it'll go straight. That's the reason why, when you just let go of your handlebar, the vehicle goes straight, basically, right? So if you understand that point, the explanation that is coming up, you will understand my point as well. So if I was you, uh, so I'm on the lean on the right hand side, the only way I am going to do is, I'll cut on the gas, right? Deaccelerate the vehicle, no braking, just cut on the gas, then I will come out of my lean. So I am leaning on the right hand side, I just come out of the lean. So what happens? I am going straight. That is more than enough. So I'm not even upsetting the my vehicle. So when I actually gave you the first option saying I could take a left, or the second option, in fact, when I say I can take a left, you are upsetting the vehicle and you can actually end up getting a skid. Actually a bad thing, basically. I've seen people doing that because of their inexperiences, of course, and they end up having a very bad accident, actually. So you come out of the lean, you just come out of the lean, the vehicle will be going straight. Then you press the brake, because you will be approaching the other end of the road very soon. And then maybe cut on a couple of gears and then flick it out. That's the only way you can do. Maybe practice it, maybe think about it. You will understand what I'm saying. You will understand what I'm saying. And of course, that is the only way. That's the easiest and the best way, as long as I'm considered. I've done it before, so that's the reason I'm telling. It's only through practical knowledge. It's not that I've learned it from theory and I'm saying it here. It's only because um, I have done it in a numerous number of times. I have learned it from my this all the whole video is all because of my experience, not because of some theoretical knowledge that I have gained through the years. All right. So just to conclude, I would tell you the benefits and the drawbacks that is in here. So the benefits, of course, you will be faster through the corner, because you are not in the way of anyone, basically. And of course, since you are not in the way of anyone, you will not be bothering the oncoming traffic. In fact, people will be more than happy, especially the truck drivers and the bus drivers, because he does not. I mean, he did not panic brake and end up doing a panic brake because of you, right? You're not one among those people who's bothering him, basically. Of course, the drawbacks. Remember, it is a road, not a track. So expect the unexpected, and trust me, things could go down very fast, because you are faster on the corners, because you are dependent on too many factors, basically. First things first is your vehicle, of course. What if the tire is not good enough? You will not be able to take a corner, because you can slip. It will not hold you tight on the corner. Of course, roads are not that clean, so you expect we normally expect all these mud and gravel to be on the side of the roads, especially after the rain, right? And of course, what if there is an animal? We are in Ooty, for God's sake, and there is always an animal crossing somewhere in the road. So, what is an animal that's waiting to cross the road? Or the worst thing is like a pedestrian who's not even facing you; he's facing the same direction that you are flying, and if you honk, also he's not going to look back. He's just going to keep go straight, and that is your and that becomes your apex. And so you cannot do you. So these are the few things which I would personally request you to have on back of your mind before doing it. So I would ask you to make it slower, but again, I leave it up to you, because as you hone the skill, as you become experienced, you will understand how much leeway you can actually give on the road basis your response time basically. The reason I've actually told you is because as I told you, I've been seeing some insanity in the place that I live in, because it was not this way when before, at least 4 5 years before. It was very the sanity level among the riders have come down, and I don't want any more craziness, which is than that is already there on the road basically. So as I always say, let's make this world a better place to live and ride. And until next time, cheers.
And that's the way this blog ends. Over and out.
Copy that.
Roger that.